Although the weather was looking more sunny in Palermo, I was still struggling with some questions. What am I doing here, staying in this city and capturing all these people who are just going about their daily lives? Sometimes it feels pointless to roam the streets and capture moments of other people. Especially here in Palermo, I sense this photographer-subject relationship even more. Maybe because relationships and ties among people here are just valued stronger. I was always convinced that if I would take a good picture, it would always be an excuse for me to invade other people's lives on the street. But now I wonder, even if I take a good picture, is it always more important than someone else's moment? I continue to photograph Palermo streets together with local photographer and my friend Vincenzo. We have made a separate video on this photographer subject topic. Going together and seeing Vincenzo interact with people helped me to loosen up as well a bit, even in neighborhoods where people usually don't like to be photographed. And so I started with street portraits. As much as I enjoyed walking together, I also needed to reach a certain level of solitude in order to capture the streets. At a certain point, I was pushing myself to get closer. So I'm now in the nightlife zone. I'm trying to get close to people to photograph, but not everyone likes it, logically. But I'm having this, I'm trying. I'm doing this experimental thing to getting close, whereas normally I keep my distance. I was happy that I took a step closer and photographed more scenes, but inside I was still struggling a bit with the whole point of taking these photos. Sometimes I also ask myself, like, what do I add to people's lives when I take this photo? So even if it's a good photo, but someone who is in the photo is not particularly happy with it, I don't know, it just sometimes I lose a little bit the essence of this genre, even if I think it's kind of important to document these times, especially as we live in a very highly curated world where we create our own image. I'm really asking myself, like, does this whole historic reflection or this whole like contextual reason of documenting time, does it really make sense for the person who is in there, in it? In the following weeks, I made new friends and I did some collaborations, such as here with a Polish dancer. And in general, I would come more and more to the realization that here in Palermo, interaction and human exchange are key. And I tried to get closer in that sense as well. At times, I would connect through dogs, as there's a very present dog culture in the city. I would photograph the dogs first, and then chat with the owners, and then photograph the owners and their interactions. Sometimes I would practice some low-key interactions in the center, and then, like this afternoon, I would continue my way up to a less central neighborhood called Quartieri di Sisa. I approached these boys, and most of them were fine with being photographed, and some were not, which was fine and also very clear for me. During my lonely evening walk the same night, I would interact with almost all the people I pictured. so photography would become more of an exchange than only a one-direction activity. During my workshops, I also discuss this photographer-subject relationship. It's always important to be aware of your own position towards the people you photograph, and also to be honest to yourself and to them if they ask what you are doing. And speaking of workshops, I had to prepare for my own here in Palermo. As I was finally getting more comfortable with photographing people on the streets, there was a new challenge waiting for me: teaching street photography to people who know the city far better than me. Therefore, I invested quite some time in the preparation. A first workshop in a new city is always one to take lessons from, which I will. But we had great fun, and I want to thank the guys of Palermo Photo, the local photography school, for organizing this workshop with me, because they are just the best. In the following days, I took some day trips to be out of the city for a bit. I went by train, car, alone, or with friends. Like here, in this little town called Piana dei Albanesi, where everyone was concerned if I've already tried their famous cannolo. And about interactions, a lot of street photographers consider it not done, as it would kill the spontaneous moment. Well, sometimes it's okay just to ask. I've done some approaching, and it's alright. You can stay longer at the scene, it gives you access, and you can also still photograph like spontaneously. I think it's the best of both worlds. I was mixing social interactions with a more introvert way of working, and somehow that felt just fine. Not being afraid of confrontations or contact, and still doing my way of chasing the scenes on the street. I was also very lucky that I have met a lot of people who got me to know Palermo better from the inside, such as Giacomo, who often took me on walks through the city and explained to me about the history of a certain neighborhood. Probably the way for me to describe Palermo after a while would be a city of contrasts. And you know, the city is so varied. It can sometimes give you like a kick in the ass, and the other time it can just kind of embrace you. And most of times I've been embraced, such as today. I was here at this at the seaside at the bench, and then this gentleman comes along, and he was a theater actor, and he just recited a few of his lines, and we talked a bit about life, but just very short, and then we shook hands, and that was it. And these are the lovely interactions that kind of make you feel as if the city embraces you. And also, of course, there are scenes you cannot photograph. Here behind me is the prison, and there's a scene always of like the wives of the prisoners, and they wave, like they communicate with the prisoners. I mean, it's very interesting, but as soon I just try to just make a photo with the phone, just to have an image of the scene, not even a good photo, but they immediately, of course, see this and they hide. And I mean, I should also not disturb them. But so there are like scenes that are interesting to see, but not so smart to photograph. This is just a very fascinating place. Lots of levels, lots of faces, lots of views, lots of contrast, lots of lots. I came to understand how important time investment is for this type of photography, to strengthen the photographic approach, but also to create more of a meaningful connection to the streets and the people you capture. As I was moving away, I realized how my connection to this island was deepened once again. The friendships, the collaborations, the brief encounters on the streets, the sweet odor in the city combined with strong winds and lines of laundry dancing on the balconies. Of course, I would always remain an outsider, but by taking the time, adjusting my approach, and through all the people I've met, I got a bit closer to this place. And about the doubt of taking photos on the streets, well, I think if we photographers remain respectful and aware about negative stereotyping, and sometimes just have a little chat while creating visual stories about places, capturing daily life in public space is not such a bad thing to do, right?